Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Hive. If you're just joining us, today our guest is Aino T. Madana. Many people know him on social media as a musician, as a cinematographer, as a businessman. He's based in Cape Town, and he is Zimbabwean, and he's been doing some great stuff, great work, working with various musicians from up and coming. Artists to established artists, making some great videos. Welcome to the show. I've had a lot of people, saying their businesses are being affected in South Africa because of,
Yeah.
the current situation of the dollars, stuff like that. I just like to know,
Uh,
with all that's been happening, how are you
yeah.
managing your business and stuff there?
Well, I would simply say, first of all, thank God we haven't had any issues in regards to that. We've been okay. We've been growing. We've been continually just doing business as usual, even getting some clients also. So I cannot say we've been affected in any way by the current situation. Yeah, currently. So
Oh,
currently we're still good, and we just pushing on the hustle.
yeah, thank you, Evans, for that. Because
Yeah.
with the cries that are coming from there, we are always worried, on behalf of all Zimbabweans, based that side. So, listen, man, I've known you
Yeah.
for
Very
a
true.
very long time. I mean,
Yeah.
to be precise, and I've known you as a musician. Do you
Yeah.
do you know that I've known you only as a musician? I didn't know you could,
Mm.
do all these other stuff. So I just want to know, how did your music career start?
Well, I started singing when I was still back in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years ago. I think my first stepping into the industry was when I got co-signed by Sanima Kalima
No.
on his Ayeye Volume 1 when he came back from South Africa back into Zim. So that was my highlights of my journey within the music industry. That's when I actually started doing my debut solo into the industry and had some of my songs actually being played on radio when
Yeah.
I featured on Ayeye compilation volume 1. So I think that's about 15 or 16 years ago when
Man,
I really started doing music professionally.
man, that's big. You worked with Sunny Makalima. Well, that's big to me. I'm gonna be fair.
Yeah,
Sunny
yeah,
is a big name,
yeah, he
bro.
did record me. It is a very big name, and I always tell people that I've got but love for the brother because he really groomed me. I think he's one of the people that really taught me how that confidence of being a recording artist.
Yeah.
The do's and don'ts when you're recording within a studio, and just to have a bit of confidence when you're doing your stuff. Yeah, so definitely the brother did groom me in a very nice way, in a way.
Wow, well, that's a piece right there. To be honest. So besides, Sunny Makalima, who else have you worked with? While you were still in Zimbabwe.
So, back home in Zim, just before Sadima Kalima, we used to have those, back home studios,
Yeah.
where we would get a small microphone from the earphones, and I used to have a friend of mine called Simplex. He's still based in Zimbabwe, and we had our own very small studio where we would record people. We even ended up recording people like Soldier Love, the late Soldier Love.
Oh yeah.
So those are some of the people that I worked with, but that's years. So that is actually before the 16 years. When I started working with Sanema Kalima, I've worked with this other guy called DJ Timmy Boy. He also had a studio in Mufakose. Then it was that era when the Zim dancehall really started getting into
Yeah.
the music circles, and it was an era in between the urban grooves and the Zim dancehall time. So
Yeah.
we're just in between there. Yeah. So that is like my musical journey from back then. And they used to call me King Chorus back then. I'd get called by people to come through and put my choruses on their songs.
So
So I usually just used to sing choruses back in the day.
so you are that good, yeah? I, you know,
Maybe.
no way, no way, man. Listen,
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
Do you know how hard it is to make a chorus? People think it's an easy thing. You're just gonna go and blah blah blah. I, 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 I
Very
I'm
true.
I'm a failed musician, so I tried music, before. I didn't try it because
Hey,
I was
they never
talented.
they never say there's a failed
I
musician because it's only time and matter. Music does not get rotten away.
I'm telling you, I didn't try it because I
Mm,
was good in it. I tried because I had everything that was required. Like in terms of hardware,
mm,
I had pretty much everything. So I was like,
mm,
you know what, I can't just set up a studio and record everybody. Let me try this. It didn't quite work
try
out.
this.
It didn't quite work out for me. But
Mm,
let me go back. You mentioned some name that I've been
mm.
saying lately, Simplex. Is this the same
Yeah,
Simplex
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
you talked about?
That's not the same simplex. That's not the same
Oh,
simplex.
that's
So
not the
this
same.
simplex is a Mufakos simplex, and this other one, the one with the
Yeah,
CYMBLEX, that's another
that's
simplex
another one.
also.
All right, because
Yeah.
that actually caught my attention, and I was like, "Oh no, I
Mm,
need to, know better." So, all right, here we
mm,
go. You seem to have taken a step back in making your own music because lately, I think
yeah.
I haven't seen much of your own, content, musical wise. What's the main reason to
Very
that?
true. So the thing is that with the journey that I've traveled within the music industry,
Yeah.
um, after the getting into the industry, when you're back in Zim, you'd have parents that would say, music is not a paying industry. So as much as you might try to do music, there's also that essence that you'd have to find a career that you would do. So after that, I ended up going to, getting into the working industry, and I worked for some very prominent organizations in Zim
Yeah.
for a while. That really put back my music because then I was now trying to build up myself career wise in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked in Zim for quite a while because I was working for Edcon Consolidated. Before then, I moved to SA. I think I only resumed doing music after a while when I was here in SA. The reason being is that, when I came to SA, I was still following the same career path, but then I switched over. I've always loved making videos.
Uh-huh.
I think the main reason why I loved making videos is because, as much as would record back in the days or in the ghettos, I never used to have anybody who could really shoot me the kind of video that I wanted. So
Okay.
I would get another young boy to like hold the camera because I had a friend of mine who had a brother from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent him a very small Samsung camcorder. So I used to borrow that camcorder and take that boy to places like Long Chain Plaza,
Oh
Long
wow.
Street, and I'll tell him hold the camera for me. He records me. When I get home now, I start fumbling with softwares. I think I used to use Pinnacle and Sony Vegas Pro. That is way back in the days. I
Yeah.
think close to about 10, 12 years back then. And with me making videos along my own videos, people started actually saying, "Oh, bro, can you do me a video?" Then, I ended up making small videos for people, and people were like, "Oh, this is good." And so that thing also got embedded into me. And I also had a friend who was very much into videography because their family is more like a videography family. His father does that full time. So he also taught me, just highlights of cinematography. Then I fell in love with it.
Uh,
But I was also attached to my working day to day 9 to 5 job. As I moved to SA, I worked for a couple of restaurants to an extent that now I was like, okay, cool, let me try it this side. And also with the help of my wife got me my first ever camera in South Africa, which was a
did
Canon 500D.
you owe you
So from then I started.
you owe you for that, and I'm gonna hold you to that. I think I'll need
Definitely.
to talk to you at some point to check if you are taking good care of her. It's rare to find women like that, man. Props to her.
She'll tell you that she's living like a queen because of that.
Ah, good
So
stuff.
she's good.
That's
She put a seed onto it.
that's exactly what I want
Yeah.
to hear.
So yeah. So with that, I started getting more bookings in relation to photography and videography as I was still working for the restaurant that I was currently attached to. Then it so happened one day that I wanted to go and shoot a program at SABC3, like a behind the scenes show for another guy.
Uh-huh.
His name is DJ Budget. He was quite popular then. He did this very popular song. So he was on a show called The Hectic 99. So when he went over to the show, he wanted me to go and shoot. But now I was now the senior waiter at the restaurant that I was working.
Uh-huh.
And the manager for the day said I couldn't go because, being the senior waiter, people were also
Oh
waiting for
man.
me. I had So then she told me, like, make a decision. Do you want to be a videographer or you want to work for this restaurant? Then I was like, you know what? I went to the toilet, I made a prayer, I came back. When I was still in the toilet, I wrote my resignation letter. Then I came back and I told her, look, I think it's high time that I just follow this. And that's exactly 8 years back.
And you know what? That's probably one of the best decisions you've ever made in your life, because right now,
Very
man,
true.
I rate you so
Very
highly.
true.
I don't know about other people, but I follow your work and I rate you
Wow, thank
so
you.
so so highly. Now tell me, I need to know. Tell me
Mhm,
the process of making a video, the way like you make a
mhm,
video. How is
mhm.
if you are going to just run it down for someone who has no idea of how to make
Okay.
a video, just tell me the process. How does it go?
The process. Okay, cool. So if I would meet a client, the first thing I always tell people that, music is something that is very much spiritual. So
Yeah.
if you would want to really understand the gimmicks or the paradigms of music, you'd have to be a spiritual person. Because when a person is recording a song, it's something that we can just hear but we cannot see. So the video is the physical aspect of that spirituality. So the
Uh-huh.
first thing when I see an artist, I would ask the artist, what were you feeling when you're recording the song? Because I would want to get into that spiritual understanding and that spiritual realm that he had when he was recording the song, so that I can take that spirituality into the physical realm to get people to see and understand what were the emotions behind the song. I think that's the first main thing that I usually do with all my artists if you're going to ask them.
Yeah.
Then from then onwards, when we understand what the artist was feeling, then it is only then when we can have maybe just a brief synopsis of the of the video, what we're talking about, what is it about, the what, the how, the when, and the why. Why did you do the song? What was the emotion behind? Then after that, now we would create a script line for it. Okay, cool. So you've told me that, but now let's now put it into practical terms. Let's draft something, maybe even brainstorming. Or we're gonna see a person coming out of a house, gets into a car, does this, goes to the shops, meets this girl, falls in love. Now we're making the script aspect of the video. From there, there's also what we call the storyboard, which is very important because some artists just end on the script line, but
Yeah.
now they forget that the minute they get to the set, there are certain things that they don't need to miss. So if you don't have a storyboard, which means you're going to move from A, B, C, D, E, and the highlight shots that are going to be like the main pillars of the video. Sometimes if you don't really have a proper treatment or storyboard of the song, sometimes you get to miss the juicy part of the video. So usually would want a storyboard and say, okay, that now includes the locations and what we're going to wear on the location. And also, when you get to a location, you'd have to consider things that are called 60-30-10, whereby 60% of the ambience or the color
Uh-huh.
is in regards to what is there. 30% is now what the artist is going to put on. Because I see a lot of people complaining and saying, my video does not look like that video, but you didn't consider those certain things like that. Where you're shooting, maybe you're shooting in front of a black wall, but
Mm-hmm.
you want your video to pop and have color.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
of
it's
course it's gonna
impossible
be
for you.
different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So those are just some of the small nitty gritties that I do when I'm shooting a music video for a person, or even a short film, or even an advert, or a commercial, or even a photo shoot. Those are just like the rundowns that I usually. That's my process. My creative process in a way.
All right. So in a nutshell, I'd say you also write the script for the artists. If they come like without a script, it means from what you were just mentioning, it means like you sit them down, pour their
Mhm.
emotions or whatever that made them write the
Yes.
song to you, and then you write a script for them,
Mhm.
and then you. So do you charge them for writing a script?
I do, because sometimes now, you'd find some other artists, they can bring their own script.
Yeah.
Because you've got some artists who've been in the industry for a while, they'll tell you, look, I want this and this and this and this and this. Now use your director or cinematography expertise to bring me this and this and this and this.
Uh-huh.
But when I'm going to be drafting the script for you, that is now my creativity, my creative process. So it's like actually a creativity process that I actually do charge for. And I don't write a script for an artist or do a script for an artist before they pay me the initial deposit.
Okay.
Because you'd find, as growing into the industry, I've learned one or two, three things. You'd find that sometimes you might help an artist make a script, you make a very dope script line. but they end up taking the script and going to shoot with another videographer. No offense, but they would have taken away your creativity. And within this industry, time is something that is a non-renewable resource. It's something that is very important. So I don't write a
100%.
script for an artist unless they've actually paid me and said, "Easy, we're going to be working with you now. Let's do the script and the storyboard." As long as we're just talking and there's no money involved, it will
No,
just be like, okay, cool, no, I understand.
yeah,
Yeah,
that will be no deal because we've heard a lot of people, complain about, like, especially music producers. I've heard a lot of stories of people complaining that
yeah,
we're not paid, so and so came, we recorded, and we're not paid. That those kinds of
mm,
things. So right on the still on the video production. Uh,
yeah.
what like do you admire the most about it when you're doing it? Like, what keeps you going?
Um, so right now, I was actually just before you called me, right?
Yeah.
I sent a YouTube link to a fellow brother. I did a video for him over the weekend. It
Uh-huh.
was just like a live show thing that I did for him. And he sent me a message and say, "Bruh, what the F?" He sent heart emojis, he sent crying emojis.
Oh my
And he
god.
was like, "Bruh, I didn't even expect you to do that for me." So those are some of the things that I love, making people happy. I've had instances where I shoot a music video for a person, a male person, like a grown male person, and he cries when he's watching his own video. So
Oh
those are some of
man.
the things that just keeps you going, like just to be able to touch somebody's heart from just doing something that is, creative and making a difference or a change in the world, and being able to tell our own African stories also to the international community and everyone at large, like really telling our own, because I'm really much into telling our own African stories from our own African backgrounds and the things that we do on a day to day.
That
So I'm a storyteller. I love telling our own African stories. Yeah.
that's very fantastic, and me hearing that, I'm actually realizing what I've been, thinking and saying about you is actually
Mm.
exactly what you're just telling me, and it makes me feel like I know you in
Yeah.
person and I've known you for years.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Thank you, my king.
so now let's talk about Easy Visuals. Tell me about the birth of Easy
Mhm.
Visuals. How did Easy Visuals come to life?
I would simply just take you back to when I told you, like, that lady manager
Yeah,
that I wrote the resignation letter for.
yeah.
And that very same day she ended up calling the owner of the restaurant, and he came through and he said, "You know what, a lot of your other brothers have worked for me and they've left and they've come back, begging for their jobs. When you come back, I won't be able to pay you the same amount of salary. I won't be able to, maybe I might not be able to I'll put you on probation because now you're like a permanent employee and stuff like that." But I told him, like, you know what, I feel this is what I was born to do. And I feel like one day you're going to meet me and I won't be the same person that you've seen. And I might even do a job for you and get paid, you'd pay me more than what you were paying me just on one day, you know. So that was really the birth of Easy Visuals from there, because just from there, that is when things just started changing. Going back to my wife, she knew a friend where she
Okay.
was getting her hair done every time.
Yeah.
So that very same day, when I sent her the message, she was like, "Okay, baby, don't worry, we're going to be okay." Then when she was getting her hair done by this friend of hers, they were just talking,
Yeah.
and the friend said, "No, my husband has got this shop, and there's a space here. Maybe you guys could come through and rent and do a studio there."
Oh man.
And I went, and yeah, and my wife told me, like, "Look, my friend told me that the husband has got a small space there. Maybe you can
Uh-huh.
go over and see him and talk to him." I went over and I saw the guy. His name is Elder Green. I've got nothing but love for that guy, because he really pushed my brain so much, and he was very supportive when I started off. So we opened our very own small studio. I think, if I would tell you, that process took only less than a week after I left my job.
No way.
That very same week, that is when we got that small shop and we moved in there, started, putting things in there. I don't really even know how we managed to set up.
Yeah,
But
man.
one thing I can always tell people, like, God is there. God is
You
faithful.
can say
God is,
amen to
if,
that. Amen to
yeah,
that. God is there, man.
yeah,
God is there because if you tell
very
me
true.
that a whole company you resign today, a week or two,
Yeah,
you're already set and
yeah.
you're getting into business. Oh, that's amazing. It doesn't happen
I'm
every
already
day.
getting, yeah, and I had that small shop. And so that's been 8 years. And this is what I do on a day to day basis. I've never gone back to work for any other guy. I work for myself.
And man,
I am,
all I
yeah,
can
I'm that
say is
easy visual kind of guy that people always say.
never go back to work. Don't work for anyone else because what you're doing right now, man, I really want to
Yeah,
see this
yeah, yeah,
company
yeah.
grow. I really want to see this company grow. Like you
Thank
have
you,
grown
man.
already, but
Much
I want you to
appreciated,
see,
brother.
like hitting them big heights. I've noticed,
Yeah,
recently you've worked with top artists. I've seen videos like artists like Stana. I think, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
Maskiri, the likes of Knox.
yeah,
And you've also worked with, I think,
yeah.
upcoming artists like Kido. Take over, if I'm not mistaken, yeah? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I was actually talking to Kido right now. He's giving me stress. He's got a new project. I think we're going to be dropping his music video called Helicopter
I,
on
li-
the 26th of October. Yeah,
I like that young guy. You see him, you tell him that I really like him.
yeah.
I think he needs to stop playing. He's playing too much. He needs to work. You
Yes,
tell him
yes,
that.
very true. He needs to work. He needs to work. Kido needs to work. Very true.
All right. So tell me,
Very
how
true.
do you handle the pressure, of working with big brands like the likes of Maskiristana and Knox?
Oh, okay, cool. So I've worked with Stana. I recently did a music video also for Trevor Dongo.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
Oh
also
my God. I
done,
forgot to mention
yeah,
that video. It was dope. Man, I
yeah, peace of mind, yeah.
great
But would you
video.
believe that video, Trevor, I got introduced to Trevor from a brother of mine called Teben C.
Uh-huh.
Teben C is also an artist. He did a song with this guy from Jamaica. I showed them here in South Africa. His name is King Masteras. He's also like a Grammy nominee guy. So they came over here to South Africa and
Mhm.
I did a song for him. So he's the guy who introduced me to Trevor. And Trevor had a show on that particular day that we shot the video. If you're going to believe it, we shot that video in less than 2 hours, the whole music video. That was at one place. He
Wow.
just came through, flew
News
over, we met,
news flash, I don't believe it. Two
you know.
hours.
But 2 hours, bro, and we were done because he had to also go and do his sound check and stuff around 5 on that particular day. So we had to work very hard. So in 2 hours, we already finished shooting. I edited the video and sent him over the video, and he fell in love with it. He went
Bro,
bananas over it. He said, "No,
bro,
the video is beautiful here."
that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Considering what I've seen people say, I know a couple of guys in the music industry. I talk to people saying,
Mm,
"Ah, I'm still working on a video and it's been 2 weeks and you are editing and
yeah.
you're telling me you did that in 2 hours?"
Yeah. So one thing I've realized is that remember I do really respect time.
Yeah,
As much as sometimes I might fail to give the artist or the client the video that stipulated time, right? Maybe say if I say in a day or 2 days time, maybe I might spend a little bit more time. But what we've trained ourselves at Easy Visual is that we don't have the time.
yeah.
So if we're going to work with an artist today, we try as much as possible. In 3 days' time, we give him the video. Especially if we've shot the music video and we're done, the editorial process has to be very fast because uh, time is not something that we can always say that we have plenty of. I understand some people would say, we're working on a. I've had people who would say they would shoot a wedding and they spend 2 months editing a video, or they've shot a music video and they say, the director is taking 2 weeks to edit the video. People have got different production processes, but at this time and age, things are changing. We're now in the AI
Yeah,
generation of
bro.
things
We've got
where
everything you
everything is
need, bro.
fast.
Everything you need is
Yes,
on right
everything you
on your
need.
computer there. I don't know why people do that though.
Yeah. So if you're going to have a music video and you take more than a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to give the client the video, you've already lost the juicy part of it when people still have, they're still on their toes waiting for it and they've still got that love for it. So we try as much as possible. We do a production process for you today, 3 days tops. That is usually our rule, a type of rule. 3 days tops, we should give you a music video.
Oh,
So we
that's
work very hard. We don't sleep.
That's very good.
I don't have time to sleep.
I think many top artists would like to work you just based on what you just said there, because this word
Yeah,
time is money. I think in Zimbabwe that line doesn't exist. The time is money thing doesn't exist. I've worked with
yeah,
people
yeah,
who would just go mum on me, just go quiet on me, and I say, do they even know that I need this thing tomorrow? And then do the follow up and everything.
yeah.
So I think based on just what you said, and I rate you so highly
Mm.
for saying those kinds of things. It doesn't happen
Yeah,
much
we
in
have to. We have to. Especially in the Zim community. I was in Zim. I came back on Wednesday, the 18th. I was in Zim for like 3 weeks.
yeah.
And no offense, I posted this one post, if you notice, where I said the pace here is very slow.
I saw
Sorry,
that.
no offense to any directors or anybody who's in the industry, but I feel like the Zim music is very good music. It's just that we need to, I think that extra edge, back here in SA, maybe it's because I work with different ethnicities. I work with Nigerians, I work with Congo people,
Yeah.
I work with Tanzanians, Burundians, and these people, they understand the value of content and how quick you have to push content. You do a music video for a Congolese guy, they even pay you like upfront and say, there is the bulk of the money once off,
Yeah.
bruh, let's work. You work, you shoot them in say we've already told them in 3 days I'm going to be done with the video.
Uh-huh.
By 3 days, they'll be asking you, bruh, how far? You give them already, it's out there, is pushing,
Yeah.
posting, and doing all that. So I think we need that extra edge because I've noticed in Zim people are now making very good music. But I feel like we just need to increase on the rate of,
That's very true because
delivery,
I
backfeeding, and also pushing our stuff.
I was talking to one artist, up and I wouldn't say up and coming though. I'd say
Mhm.
he's been in the game, for I think just before COVID. So that means 3, 4, 5 years, and he's made some
Yeah.
really good music. And recently he said he went to the studio, blah blah. They've been working on a song for 3 months, and now he thinks somebody
Yeah.
stole his song. And I was asking like, why would you work on a song for 3 months? Who does that?
Yeah, who
Why
does
would
that?
you
Because we're no
work on a
longer
song
in
for
that
3 months?
generation now.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're no longer in that generation whereby yes, they say quality is everything, but I feel like unless maybe if you're working on an album, like
yeah.
say you've got a lot to cover, you have to record maybe say 7 songs, you have to do 7 videos for the thing, maybe you're shooting your visuals in different countries, that definitely might take time.
Now
But if
that's
you're
that
working on singles,
that's a big body.
you know,
Now a single,
that's
I
a
was
big
like,
body.
dude, a single.
Mm,
You can get into a studio right now, make a single. Like if
yeah,
everything is in order, you go there, you record your
very
single.
true.
3, 4 hours,
Very
you are
true.
you are done. And I gave him an
Very
example of
true.
Tupac. I was reading Tupac's story, and I was like, go and read this story. You'll see how
Mm,
Tupac would walk in the studio, make a song, and goes out with a song. Why would you go three
yeah.
months? And now he's saying the producer gave someone your song and blah blah. And I was like,
Hmm.
I don't do those kinds of things. I don't expose people. That's not what I do. Blue
Yeah.
Bunch, the feedback, we don't do
Yeah.
that. Find someone else because he wanted me to write a story about it and say, no, I'm not gonna do that.
About that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
go
Very
sort your
true.
issues amicably with whoever does that, who did that, and your producer,
Mm.
and come out with whatever you come out with. Just agree on something. All right, back to you, man.
Yeah, my friend.
Right. I've noticed uh, one thing. I'd say
Hmm.
congratulations. First on that one.
Oh, thank you.
You partnered with
Yeah.
Earground Africa recently.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw
So
that
we
somewhere.
now.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Earground
So
Africa
thank you.
is
Thank
a
you.
is a
Thank you, bro.
huge massive organization. We respect them so much. And how is
Yeah.
your just tell me about it. Tell me about the whole deal, the whole thing.
Uh, Ear ground is amazing. And kudos or say shout out to my main man, Plot Marco.
Yeah.
He is very one humble guy.
Mm-hmm.
I never actually expected him to be like that. So the thing is that I'd actually been trying to reach out to him for a while, sending him messages and saying, bro, what's up? I'm a content creator down in the Cape.
Uh-huh.
Can I give content to you? So he apparently he couldn't see those messages, and I always used to understand because being as busy as he is, because people just send stuff to Eground every time.
That's very
So when
true.
he came down to South Africa, he met one of my very close guys whom I work with. Shout
Uh-huh.
out to Honeycomb Media.
Yeah.
So Honeycomb is like my brother company that I do work with.
Mhm.
They're more into the photography business aspect of things. So sometimes we just like co-work on co-platforms.
Uh-huh.
So he met Honeycomb, and Honeycomb did tell him about me, and he was telling him like, you need to do something down here.
Mhm.
So then Honeycomb did send me the number for Plot
Yeah.
Margot. Then I called Plot Margot and said, bruh, you know what? My name is Aina T. I'm from Easy Visuals. I do this and this and this and this and this. And the brother man was like, yo, bruh, I've been looking for, somebody like you just off the
Oh.
bat. And, we just gelled in from day one, and we were actually just talking just now, and so the thing that we have now is that we're really trying to establish ear ground South Africa or Cape Town from down here.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because we've got a lot of Zimbabwean upcoming artists and already established artists in the industry that do not really have access to big blogging platforms where they can put their work.
Yeah.
I'll give you a typical example: a young man like Kido. He's
Mhm.
making very good music, but he does not really have those big platforms that can really push his name so that he can make enough
Yeah, man.
noise from down here.
And I tell you,
You
man,
see.
if this, I always
Mm,
talk to a lot of upcoming artists, guys. It's not
mm,
about, who is gonna push me, who's gonna push me. Make good music. We'll do our
yeah.
best because they
Yeah.
just get, they fade away because they'll be looking at big
Yeah.
artists.
Very true.
Their names, their
Yes.
photos are everywhere. And I would say, guys,
Mm,
it could be 3 4 bloggers who are gonna write about you, but don't give up
yes.
because if somebody writes
Don't
about
give
you,
up.
it means they are recognizing you. So I
Very
mean,
true.
just go on, man.
Mm. So we did that because we really want to push. I've got quite a number of very good young artists down here. We've got,
Uh-huh.
Vega Milano. He's making
I
some very nice
I
drill
love
music.
I love that
You
guy.
know,
I
Yeah,
love
and
that
we've
guy.
got there's also another young boy, named YJ Truth. That boy is fire. Very soon people are going to know him. He actually got signed by this other very big Nigerian production
Uh-huh.
media house called Marshall Media. He's
Uh-huh.
got his solo video that he did with those guys.
I,
International quality, international standard,
I'll
So
look
those
him
are some
up.
of yeah, yeah, I'll definitely send you links to that boy. That boy is amazing. So we've got a lot of young men that are down here that don't really have access to these big blogging platforms. So we partnered up with Earground so that we could try as much as possible just to give, that extra push to them in regards to their content that they're making down here, and also just to have a highlight feel of what happens, down here. Because we've got, if you notice, one of the posts that we did down here that was posted on the Earground platform was when Confused came here,
Yeah.
and we did a music video for him and his
Yeah.
live show.
Yeah.
So
That
I
that
was,
I watched that party after party. Is it so? Is it?
yeah, party
But
after
yeah,
party.
yeah, I watched that, and when
Mm,
I remember when I saw that video, and I saw, do you know, each time I try to watch a video, and I kind of feel like this looks like
mm.
if I saw easy visuals, I just watched the whole thing. For some reason, I think
Thank you, man.
that's how
Thank
I
you,
am
bro.
good,
Thank you, bro.
to your
Yeah,
brand, and you're doing great, man. You're doing
yeah.
really great, yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, you go ahead with
Mhm.
yeah.
But that is as most as how we're working with Earground. You're going to actually be seeing a lot of, because now I'm doing quite a number of videos for a lot of artists. I've got also this other artist, very good artist that I'm working with. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be seeing his interview on Earground. His name is MC Praise. He did this other song that was very popular called Dobenya.
I know that
Uh,
guy. I know that guy. Yeah.
yeah. So now I've done we yesterday we finished off clips. He's got another song called Manyama. He did another song called Manyama for the Zoom girls. So that one is going to be fire. So I'm the one who filmed that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming out in the next week or week and a half, because we're now busy prepping up for the release of that. But I'll definitely send you a trailer that side.
Please do.
So we just Yeah, so we're just working with Earground in regards to that. As I am also, as much as I'm working with these South African artists and these other artists from other countries, I'm also trying to push also my Zim brothers also as well, and also trying to help them market their content and be able to push their content onto bigger platforms, and be able also to help them also to submit their music videos to Trace, MTV, because from this end here I do have like very good rapport and plugs and links also, with those kind of platforms like Trace Africa and
Hmm.
MTV. So I'm just trying as much as possible, as much as an artist wants to work with me and can be able to follow what I'm saying to them, I would help them as much as possible to push their contents towards that.
I really hope,
Mm.
from whoever is listening, I think there should be a couple of artists there. And if they hear this, I really hope they're going to, hit you up and just come, because I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
feel
yeah, yeah.
like with what you're doing with big artists and, those young artists, the likes of Kido Take Over, man, you're doing a great,
Mm.
job, and you deserve to be appreciated for that. And for that reason, that's
Thank you,
why
my
I made
king.
this interview, because I just thought, we need you to tell people your story and, whatever has been
Yeah.
transpiring. So now let's look at there's this one thing that I've always wanted to
Mm-hmm.
ask about the Zimbabwean music industry. I'm
Yeah.
saying honestly, as much as the talent is there, as much as
Mm-hmm.
the products that are coming out in form of humans is quite good, but I feel like there is an issue with the abuse of drugs. I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know if I'm not saying things correctly. I've seen a couple of musicians that I really rated, who are now
Mm.
not like in their right space. And I don't know,
Yeah.
what do you think about it? What do you see, like, what do you think needs to be done to keep the people away from the drugs?
I think the bigger artists that have got more mileage in regards to the industry really have to conscientize,
Yeah.
uh, the other artists that are also, involved in these, such practices as drug abuse and all that, to, avoid such. Because if they could make it into the industry and become as big as they are without the use or the abuse of drugs, which means it's very much possible to get to the top without the abuse or the use of drugs.
True story.
The unfortunate part is that, when I was in Zim, I noticed that it's a thing that has just been there. Like when I went to Zim, I met some of my other old friends or the people that I used to grow up seeing, and this whole Mutoriro Guka has
Uh,
really infiltrated into the people,
yeah.
and it's just a prayer, that the officials at the top or the people, they can just continue doing the cleanup campaigns. Because there's this one boy that I saw. This boy was so good at soccer. He
Uh,
was he was like, he used to play with even people like Kama Billiard, and Kama Billiard was not even as close as good as that boy was.
yeah.
And when I went to see him, I saw that boy. He is now just roaming the streets, looking
Uh,
dirty, and I was like, what went wrong?
man.
Because the unfortunate part, as they say, with drug abuse is that people get into this drug abuse things, hoping that these things can, enable them to perform better and faster. But you'd get to a point where by now, those same things are now killing your talent. Take a look at like the videos we've been seeing lately of Dobadon. That guy
Man,
was one
man,
really talented
that's
guy,
heartbreaking, man. That's heartbreaking, I tell you.
very heartbreaking. Yeah. And I also feel that, the people who can be able to assist or help people, within those circles, like take for instance, people who just be posting and say, help Dobadon, or those people that are around these circles, if they can be able to help him, then the better, rather than just post about it and talk about it when there's no action being taken, because at the end of the day, look at that, all that talent, uh, just wasting away. It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. So I
Man,
feel like the people at the top should definitely, do something in regards to that. And the bigger artists also should also find ways to teach. I feel one thing that we're failing within our industry is that, I've found a lot of people are selfish. They're just selfish with their content. They just want their content to really go onto the top. They don't really talk about other artists or talk about the current situation on the ground and try to help out. Even do workshops where I haven't seen even on Facebook or Instagram where you'd hear say 20 Zimbabwean artists, say maybe the big artists, say maybe say Japreza, Winky D, Macheso, those artists that have done stuff that have
Yeah.
gone outside the country. Take off Moko Omba, the like those big bands that are doing shows outside the country that are getting fully booked, that have
Yeah.
a calendar that is, fully booked. Those people to come together and say, we're going to be having a music workshop. It was only when Becca was in Zim when we used to have, we would go to Pakarepae,
Yeah.
where would we have music crossroads Africa, where would, when I still remember those days where I met people like Juntao, Mok Omba,
Yeah.
and all these other artists that have been groomed. Tugu used to call us to Pakarepae and would have crossroads Africa, Raz, which was Reggae Association of Zimbabwe,
Mhm.
and people like Rasfarai, Banimpario from radio, and these people they would teach us as young artists. Guys, the industry is full of this. But the industry is like this and this and this and this and this. Those things are no longer being done in Zimbabwe. We no longer have a sharpening and grooming session for artists that are growing. Artists are just moving aimlessly and just doing music. They don't, I always say artists don't know the business side of music. An artist only knows the studio and production part of the process, the
And
artistic part of the process,
and you know
you
what?
know.
You're just bringing in something that
Mm,
that I talked about in one of the interviews recently. I was saying like,
mm,
why don't artists want to have someone who runs the business side of their campaigns? Because artists, somebody sold a lie to artists that if you don't need a manager, you don't need anybody. I know of a lot of artists
yeah,
who don't have a manager because when I ask, they say social media is my manager. I'm just gonna take my stuff. I'm just gonna post and then there. I'm just gonna do this and that and
yeah,
do this and that. And I always say, listen, right now I've got this tiny radio station. I have a manager for this.
mm,
Somebody
yeah,
manages this thing. It's very small,
very
and
true.
I don't even get money from it. I told one of the artists,
Mm,
listen, I'm not even making money, but I still have
mm,
someone who manages it. You need someone who understands, other things outside of, the environment that
very
you're doing,
true.
like music. Yes, someone who understands the
Mm,
outside part of music, because music and business are intertwined.
very
And
true.
and
Very true.
if no matter how good you are on stage, if you are not good on the business side of music, you will die without a
Mm.
penny. And I mean, it's
That's very true because that's where the professional part of music comes into play. The unfortunate part is that a lot of people see artists like, say, Davido, Rugam,
yeah,
Rema, those high-end artists, and they say, "Hey, I want to emulate these artists. I want to become like Wizkid one day.
yeah.
I wish my music could play there." But just the minute where you fail to understand the business gimmicks or the professionalism that is intertwined into
You are
it,
done.
I'm telling you, you'd make music for the next 10 years, 15 years, but fail to get it. There are certain people who know social media management.
Yeah,
They know when to post, how to post, and what to post. But if then you're going to say as an artist, what you just feel like, I'm going to post my stuff, every little thing I'll do, I'll post. I was talking to another artist and I told him like, you you want to look or pose and show people that you have value as an artist, but 80% of the content that is on your page, you've taken your photos using not even a high-end cell phone. But no offense, but the
it
image
take no,
quality,
Baba.
yeah,
Dude.
the imaging that you're showing out there does not even give value to yourself,
Exactly.
because a promoter would look at you and say, this boy wants me to pay him 10,000 rands to come through and perform. But his imagery or his, the outlook or how he looks does not even look like 10,000 rand.
So
It does not work like that. So there's a lot of things that artists really need to know in terms of and I think it's one gospel that has been trying to be put out there.
yeah,
It's so unfortunate that within the industry, then people would get into certain instances whereby if they trust certain people to run there, platforms and stuff, people have ended up getting to positions whereby some people would have taken money from them and stuff. But I always tell
Uh,
people that that is where paperwork comes into play. And also remember that is an artist also needs to read broad and wide to know what really goes into, to understand what is really happening within the industry, and like the value that is within the art. It's
yeah,
pointless or aimless for an artist just to keep on making music and say, I make good music, I make people happy, but you don't get time to really train your mind and to read broad and wide and see what is really happening. Because you get a manager, yes, and you'd find you're doing a lot of shows. You find that, okay, cool, I think my brand is growing, but at the end of it, the value in relation to that brand, when people ask you, like, you've been doing this, but we don't see the value into it. What
yeah.
have you harvested from all this cultivation that you're doing? You see?
I was just talking to someone about photo shoots, and the guy was telling me that I can't be paying for a photo shoot, blah, blah. And I was like, listen, uh,
Mm,
we buy what we see, and
very
then
true.
that's like the first impression is always like, the best. I was saying, look, if you post a
Mm,
picture on Facebook, if I go for a photo shoot, I come, I post a photo, and you take a photo
mm,
with your own phone and you post in there. Look, it doesn't matter whether
yeah,
people don't like him or not. I'm more likely to get more likes than you. Why? Because people like nice
yeah,
things. Just be nice there.
yeah,
And now, if you post
very
10
true.
nice pictures, and the next time you post a link to a music video, people are already like, oh, wow,
Yeah,
this guy dresses very well. This guy looks very nice. Let's see what's in there.
very true.
That's like how the marketing
Yeah,
thing goes. And I think people really need,
yeah,
to learn those kinds of basics. And I want to ask you something. Have you ever
mm,
thought of,
yeah.
going into artist management?
It's not a thing that I'd want to do, but I would want to. Like I've recently, just before I went to Zim, I did a master class
Yeah.
where I'm also going to be really pushing in regards to that, where I'm going to be offering master classes that vary in span in between cinematography, editing, music, vocal coaching. I'll just be doing different master classes. Artist management is not really my thing,
Uh-huh.
because to manage another person really needs you to be in depth into it. But
True.
what I do is that within I work with a team,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you find within my team I've got people like Infinity Media Management.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys at most, if you see sometimes the people who push out my work so that they can be seen. I've got a friend like Hillary. These people are just basically into marketing. That is what they understand. They talk marketing. So I always have people around me. I've got, the guy who actually manages, also who does my admin management, Boss
Uh-huh.
G, from upper class family. He is the management guy.
Yeah.
He loves managing artists. That is his thing. So that is how I work. I always work with people around me. I've got
Mm-hmm.
people who like dressing artists, like Don Kumches is also a brother company.
Yeah.
I've got people like, nice suits. If you notice, I usually just dress in suits when I'm
Man,
posting.
when it
These
comes
are,
to that, you are killing it, man. All the pictures, you're
yes, because
nailing it.
image, image is everything,
Yeah.
because that way the value of things come into play. So I do have people that are around me that do that. I I am not. I won't say I'm a very. I'll never say that I'm a very good manager when it comes to managing music. As
Mm-hmm.
much as I worked for a high profile company and was a manager for about 4 years as an admin manager, I do, and that is part of something that I even studied as well. But managing artists is not really a thing that I'd really want to get myself into at this stage, as
Mm-hmm.
I am more into creating the creative process of like the artistic stuff whereby the artist can use to push himself out there. So that is what Easy Visuals is really about.
That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. And how many people are currently employed by Easy Visuals?
we we don't have people that are employed by
Okay.
Easy Visuals. We've got affiliate brands.
Oh, good stuff.
The only other person maybe who's employing us to Easy Visuals is my wife, because she's the CEO. I am only just a
Oh, so,
The
so, so,
worker at
so you
Easy
are the
Pizza.
worker. You are the one on the ground who's doing all
I
the
am just
work,
the one who
and
works.
and
Yeah, that is
affiliates. So it's
that is
you,
my boss.
the affiliates, and the
Yeah.
boss. Well,
Yes. So
that's a very good company. It makes a lot of sense. They
yeah.
because what you are doing now. I mean, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, uh, you are doing. I think I'd say 10 people swag. In
Yeah.
one. If I can put, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's making any sense, but the
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're
Thank
doing
you a
right
lot, man.
now, if it was me, I'm so obsessed with
Mhm.
delegation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
bring in 10
Yeah. That
people to
is,
do that.
the South African market
Yeah,
is a bit different. If I am, because like now I want to set up in Zim, I'm really trying to push a lot of stuff towards Zim.
yeah,
In Zim, I could have employees,
yeah.
right? Because of the current situation that is in Zim, it's easier. But here in South Africa, you'd find everybody always has their own hustle that they're pushing.
It's true.
So it's always easy if you want your brand to always be abreast on top of most of what the other people are doing. You would have affiliates. Like for instance, I work with people like MC4 Media. I
Hmm.
work with SKT International. I
Uh-huh.
work with Five Media. I work with Honeycomb. All these guys, they are very good at their particular trades.
Hmm.
They are very good when it comes to like videography and photography work. But me just being the host company that is always there at the top, if I've got like a very big job, it makes it easier for me to have people say a set where I can have a DOP there, a camera guy there, a lighting guy there, and these guys know what they're doing.
Hmm.
Because if I'm going to open a business wide side in terms of South Africa, which means I have to start grooming those people from scratch, right? And already where the brand is, yes, as much as it, I would want to do that, but you'd find the industry here is very fast.
Yeah.
You don't have time to go to a set whereby you're filming a person like Stone Gandu who sings with Kofi Olomide when they're on live on stage, and you want to go and shoot that particular person with a person who's training how to set the camera ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. That person will tell you, bruh, I don't have time for that,
Very
because you'd
true.
have charged that person a lot of money,
Yeah,
you know.
and that will just derail
So
like the
yeah,
name of the brand.
very true. So I always just work with these affiliate brands where I know I've already seen the work of these people. I collaborate with them. I call them through their to my sets, and we work. And then I know that at the end of the day, the host company is my company, and I would have managed to produce and deliver a job that the client, really is proud of at the
Man,
end of the day.
that's super, super, super great. So I've got one question before
Yeah,
we knock this thing off. Are we gonna have
bless.
music from Aina in the near future? Are you gonna give us some music?
Definitely. I have actually, when I was in Zim, I
Yeah.
was actually shooting some footage for my upcoming. So I'm working on a debut
Uh-huh.
reggae album.
No ways,
so,
man. I
so
love
this
I love reggae, man.
yeah.
I love reggae.
So this is something that I thought I would try to bring it back home.
Yeah.
Most of the songs I actually did them in Shona,
Uh-huh.
and on this album, these are like my heartfelt stories where I'm talking about my life.
Oh, good stuff.
Growing up as an orphan, because my life is that my mother is late, my father is late. I don't have siblings. I don't have a brother. I don't have a sister. So it's
Oh
just
man.
I'm just a solo guy. It's just me on my own, and my family now, my small boy and my wife and the coming one, are really my family, and my cousins and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
in this album, I really spoke about things that I've faced as I've been growing up, my deep inner sentiments and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that is what I've been working on. Uh, Definitely before the end of November, I'm pretty sure we're going to be starting to dole out and releasing the music and the videos. I'm hoping that we're going to be doing 7 songs.
7 songs.
So that is what I'm going to do. Yeah. So that
Oh,
is
well,
what I'm
that
working on.
that's a big project. At least we can say
Yeah.
the members. I was always like, this guy is very good, especially the Amapiano tracks
Yeah.
that I've listened from your projects, man. You really
I am gonna do on my piano, but for now, I'm doing reggae. So I'm working with a producer called Funk.
Yeah.
Then I also have got another guy called KSG the Don.
I
KSG is
know
actually the guy
I
who,
know
yeah,
KSG. I know we profiled
yeah,
KSG, before. Dope guy, that one.
yeah, very talented young man. So he's also part and parcel of the project.
Uh-huh.
And I'm working with it with my team. And I've also got a couple of guys who are called the band. So I've got Slick in there. I've got Gindron Keys.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Trust Magic. I've got Theo the drummer. So these are the guys that I'm working with on that particular project.
Mm-hmm.
And the administration manager for it is Boss G, the guy from Upper Class
Okay.
Family. So these guys, I'm working with them in regards to this project. Very soon we're going to be having a listening session. When you have a listening session, if everything goes well, then all my people can be ready and be expectant from very new music coming off from Aina T. I also do have a collaboration that I did. I'm telling people to really, really, really watch out for that song. I feel it's a very good song. I did it with this guy called Trust Afro. Very
Trust
talented
Afro.
young man. Yeah, that guy, he used to be in the music industry a while back, so we've brought him back into the game. He's now based here in Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
He is very good. So there's one project that I'm going to be saying is really a highlight on that. That's the only collaboration that I'm going to be having there on the album. But apart from that, all the other songs are like solo songs. I'm going to be on my own.
Ah man, I can't wait for
Yeah.
that program. So tell me, what's next
Mm.
for Easy Visuals? What are your next project for Easy Visuals? You can just tell us if you don't want to give out the names. That's fine. But
Uh-huh.
what are you working on right now?
From the day I landed back here in SA on the 18th, I've been shooting like crazy. I think
Mm-hmm.
the first project that I actually did, I was at the Afro Piano Festival where I was shooting the live show for Ruga and
Uh-huh.
Vocalist and Jahanif out of UK. I also did a music video for him. It's also going to be coming out. I've got a lot of music videos that I'm going to be shooting. What I can tell people is to just follow my platforms, all my Easy Visuals platforms, because I am shooting a lot of stuff. I also did some music videos back in Zim, which I'm also going to be dropping also on my platforms. I work with some upcoming, artists
Artists,
also
yeah.
from Zim.
Mm-hmm.
So people can also be seeing my film from what I shot in Zim and what I'm going to be filming here.
Yeah.
But Easy Visuals is working on a lot of dope projects,
Good stuff.
and they can be very expectant of nothing but amazing magical moments.
Good stuff. So any
Mhm.
shout outs that you'd like to give?
Always, I give a big shout out to my queen because she's the one who really pushes me every
The
day and
boss.
makes me become the boss. Yeah. Also, I always have to say shout out to the queen herself,
Uh,
and I also have to say shout out to my nini. Her name is Tafazwa.
uh,
For all you single guys out there, if you want a beautiful girl, I've got a very beautiful girl here.
Hella,
my
hella.
my nini. Those people,
Single guys,
they
are
always
they
push.
listening? We want a proper
Yeah.
single guy who's got like who's got a vision, someone who's organized.
Yes,
Yeah,
but I
not just
also,
single guys.
yeah, I'm telling you. But I also have to, give credit to my cousin brother. His name is Sean Deeds.
uh-huh.
He's at high school and he really pushes me. He's my day one. Much love to you, my aunt in Zim, and my team that I work with.
Yeah,
The INT team. I really have to give a big shout out to them. Those people that have been there from day one.
yeah, good stuff.
And even my gospel family. From Life Fountain Embassy with my pastor,
Uh-huh.
Pastor Richie Chingwe. Those are people that really just tell me, no, easy. As much as you're doing this, praying and going into the right direction is always something that is very important. And to
True,
all the
and
fans and friends that are always pushing my work, I've got a lot of very good young men. I've got Courage, I've got Five Media, Honeycomb Media.
yeah.
There's a lot of people who always put extra effort. I've got the V bag. Much love to you, my king. You've been posting my stuff, I think, from the days when I dropped the 10 music video promo from Mona Lisa. And I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
appreciate that a lot, to find people who do that. And I tell people, please do follow the Blue Bunch Radio because these guys are taking over. You
Tell
must
them,
follow
Baba.
them
Tell
right
them.
now. I'm telling you.
Bachele.
Yes, but them, they must really follow through because what they're doing is amazing in terms of helping the upcoming artist and the indie, filmmakers that are out there. And yeah, and maybe if you'd also want me to just give a word of advice to some of the people that are doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Before my uncle passed on, he gave me three words.
Yeah.
And those are the three words that I always wake up and tell myself every day. He
Mhm.
said the first word is implementation.
Yeah.
The second word is implementation.
Yeah.
The third word is implementation.
Hallelujah.
So, and he said,
Fire there.
yeah, you see, I'm saying the same words three times.
Yeah.
Is that, you don't have any time in your life whereby you need to tell yourself that you failed.
That's true.
Always try to implement on a plan that you would have failed and keep on implementing, because the more you implement on something, definitely, if you can perceive it, you can conceive it. If you can just think about it, you can
Word.
be able to do it.
Word.
Yeah, and just keep on pushing, aspire to inspire before you expire,
True
because
story.
we all have a time limit. So as much as you're alive, keep on pushing every day, and also try to plan out everything. People, I've found a lot of people, they just pushing when they'll say easy visuals, we've been doing business for the past 8 years. You were talking about other people complaining that the situation here is bad, they're not getting clientele and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I always tell people that proper planning prevents poor performance. Because if you can
100%.
plan, if you can definitely plan on something, you
Mhm.
can definitely be able to know that, and attract, you'll be able to attract the right clientele that is supposed to come along your way.
Yeah.
And apart from everything else, people should always pray, because
Oh,
prayer moves mountains,
you
no
can say
matter what.
that again, man.
Yeah.
People don't really get the power of prayer. If something has never happened to you that
Mhm.
requires prayer and it worked, people don't really
Yeah.
understand that. Man, thank you very much, for joining us today. It was really an honor
Much
to
appreciate
have
that,
you on the
man.
show. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep,
Yeah,
we're
yeah, 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 yeah,
we're
yeah.
loving your stuff. We're loving how you're doing it. We love how you work with people, and I love your story. So thank you very much, man, for being with us
Yeah.
today. That was Inoti. Everybody who's listening. I don't know. Is it? I know. Just tell me.
It's Aina,
Okay, now
Inuh.
that's
It's so
Ina.
fun if I tell you. People in South Africa, some call me Inu, some call me I know, but it's Inuh. So it's the proper pronunciation from it is Aina T.
All right, and now that's Aina T, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for tuning to Bluebunch Radio on this day. Aina, thank you very much, man, for joining us. We have a great interview, man, and we're gonna close this show with a song from Aina T called "Dudum Dud." I love this gem.
yeah.
vataurira kuti apa pamuzanzi takutoda zvekupipita takuda kuqeda vanhu namatanzi waiziva 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 chero mazimba tetedawo mapiano ka Yati dudum duri, dudum